Apple's relationship with China is not just a matter of assembly lines and outsourcing. It is a complex, structural interdependence that has defined how the iPhone and other Apple products are made, distributed, and marketed around the world, because for more than 2 decades, China has served not only as Apple's primary manufacturing base but also as an essential hub in its supply chain ecosystem, where high-volume assembly, component sourcing, logistics, and commercial strategy intersect. Even today, despite Apple's diversification efforts, China remains dominant in the production of iPhones and other devices, with estimates suggesting that around 80% of all iPhones are still assembled in China, and final assembly there continues to represent a foundational part of the company's global manufacturing footprint, thanks to decades of infrastructure investment, skilled labor, and industrial specialization that few other countries can match. Apple's famous supply chain diversification, including expansion into India, Vietnam, Malaysia, Thailand, and elsewhere, is real and ongoing, but it unfolds slowly because shifting the intricate network of suppliers, factories, testing facilities, and logistics partners developed over decades cannot be done overnight, and even when assembly plants rise in new regions, many of the components still originate from Chinese factories or rely on Chinese-linked supplier expertise to scale up. For example, iPhone production in India has grown rapidly. In the fiscal year ending March 2025, Apple assembled around 20% of iPhones in India, with exports from those plants reaching roughly $17.4 billion, a roughly 60% year-on-year increase that reflects both Apple's push to diversify and India's success in attracting manufacturing investment. Yet this shift still represents only one part of a broader global supply structure where China remains deeply embedded. Apple first began iPhone production in India years ago, primarily for entry-level or older models, but in recent years that footprint has expanded with new plants operated by major partners like Foxconn and Tata Electronics, which are now producing newer models and exporting them globally, including to major markets such as the United States, where shipments from India have surged dramatically, at one point increasing by around 76% year-on-year for certain months, while China's exports to the U.S. fell during the same period as part of Apple's broader diversification strategy. At the same time, Apple's diversification push is shaped by geopolitical pressures, including U.S.-China trade tensions and tariffs that have encouraged Apple to rethink parts of its supply chain, particularly for products sold in the U.S., where policymakers have discussed higher tariffs on Chinese-made goods, and Apple has explored shifting more production to India to avoid these levies, a move that could see most U.S.-sold iPhones made in India by around 2026, although this process remains complex due to differences in labor costs, infrastructure maturity, and production scale. Despite these diversification efforts, China's importance remains resilient and structural rather than merely transactional, because even as overall facility numbers outside China have grown, the number of Chinese suppliers and manufacturing or development facilities in China actually increased in recent years, with reports showing that Chinese suppliers accounted for the largest group among Apple's network and that the total count of manufacturing or development sites in China rose from 48 to 52 over a 1-year period, signaling that Apple's engagement with China continues even as it expands elsewhere. Moreover, China remains dominant in certain core segments of Apple's supply chain, such as printed circuit boards, precision mechanical components, and other foundational parts, which means that even products assembled outside China often include components or value derived from Chinese manufacturing networks, and foreigners frequently own many of those factories, illustrating how intertwined global firms operate inside China to serve Apple's global scale. Historical data shows that China's share of Apple's supply chain has declined somewhat over the years, from an estimated 60 to 70% of electronics manufacturing locations before 2018 to around 50% today, with factories increasingly located in India and Southeast Asia, but this still leaves China as the largest single regional location for Apple's manufacturing footprint, far exceeding any other country in terms of sheer scale and concentration. One reason China's role remains central is the depth and optimization of its industrial ecosystem, which combines rapid logistics, developed transportation networks, economies of scale, and a massive skilled workforce that can handle peak seasonal demands and complex manufacturing processes that include quality control, testing, packaging, and final assembly, all coordinated with suppliers who themselves often possess decades-long experience working with Apple specifications and systems, a capability that emerging hubs such as India and Vietnam are still building toward over time. Apple's reliance on China also reflects the interconnected nature of global supply chains, where components might be designed in the U.S., sourced from Korea, Japan, or Taiwan, and then shipped to China for assembly and final integration before being distributed worldwide, illustrating how China sits at the heart of a global network rather than simply serving as a low-cost production base. In addition to production, China is one of Apple's major commercial markets, historically contributing a significant portion of the company's revenue, which further complicates the relationship. Apple must not only navigate logistics and manufacturing realities but also competitive pressures from strong domestic Chinese brands like Huawei, Oppo, and Vivo, which have captured large shares of the local smartphone market and occasionally eroded Apple's market position, forcing strategic adjustments in pricing, marketing, and product offerings to maintain competitiveness. This dual nature of China's role, as both a production hub and a consumer market, means that Apple's decisions about where it manufactures products are not purely business calculations divorced from broader economic and geopolitical contexts. Instead, they involve balancing risk, cost, market access, competitive dynamics, and long-term strategic planning in a world where global politics influence corporate supply chains as much as consumer demand does. Analysts widely agree that completely removing China from Apple's supply chain is unrealistic in the near term because achieving that would require replicating China's industrial depth, logistics efficiency, and supplier networks elsewhere on a massive scale, a task requiring years, massive investment, and workforce development that no other country currently offers at the same level. Which is why even as India's share of iPhone assembly climbs, with plans to potentially produce up to around 25% of global iPhones in India by as early as 2027, China retains a majority share of both final assembly and component production that supports Apple's flagship products. In practical terms, this means that hundreds of thousands of jobs, factories, transportation links, and supplier companies remain in China in part because creating a similarly efficient ecosystem elsewhere would require synchronized growth across numerous industries such as precision manufacturing, materials processing, electronics assembly, and high-speed logistics, all operating at volumes measured in the tens of millions of units each year, capabilities that China has invested in and optimized for decades. Furthermore, the network effects that arise when many of the world's largest electronics firms operate in the same region, including Apple, its suppliers, and competing manufacturers, create a reinforcing cycle where talent, infrastructure, technology transfer, and economies of scale continue to attract global production to China, even as rising wages and geopolitical risk have encouraged some diversification. For Apple, this has meant carefully balancing diversification with deep integration, expanding its footprint in India and Southeast Asia while still maintaining robust manufacturing operations in China because removing China entirely would disrupt supply continuity and risk higher production costs and quality control challenges that could impact product launches, pricing, and market responsiveness. Apple's diversification strategy also reflects broader global manufacturing trends. Companies are increasingly adopting a China plus one approach, where they keep China as a core production base while building secondary hubs to mitigate geopolitical risk, reduce dependency, and take advantage of incentives offered by governments seeking to attract high-tech manufacturing investment, such as India's production-linked incentive programs and other Southeast Asian initiatives. As Apple continues to navigate these dynamics, the company's decisions will likely shape global supply chain trends in electronics for years to come, influencing where suppliers invest, how workers are trained, what markets are prioritized, and how resilient multinational supply networks can be in a world where trade tensions, tariffs, and geopolitical competition increasingly intersect with corporate strategy. The result is a story not simply about Apple moving production from one region to another, but about how global supply chains evolve in an interconnected world where economic power, industrial capacity, and market strategy cannot be separated, and where China's role in Apple's success, and in the broader technology landscape, remains central even as diversification reshapes parts of the industry landscape.